Hi, this is Richard Pater, the director of BICOM. I've just spent this morning touring the Israel's northern border, discussing the threat from Hezbollah from southern Lebanon. I'm standing here with Sarit Zehavi, who is the CEO and founder of the Alma think tank, focused on security issues on Israel's northern border. Sarit, before that, has over 15 years experience working in the IDF military intelligence, so is the perfect host for this issue, as we want to explore some of the current issues in Lebanon today and the threats facing Israel. If we could start, what can you tell us about the Palestinian groups that we understand are responsible for firing about on 5 different occasions in the last 3 months, 2 in the last couple of weeks, firing missiles, rockets into the northern Israel?
Our evaluation in Alma Center is that these Palestinian groups were working with the Iranians. I'm not sure whether Hezbollah was involved or not, but the idea is that the Iranians want to create here a reality that they are responding and involved in everything that is happening in Jerusalem and the internal conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. And that's why they are encouraging the Palestinian organizations to launch rockets from the north and not only from Gaza. Moreover, in a very absurd way, Lebanon had become a more comfortable arena to launch from than from Gaza after the previous operation in Gaza of the IDF.
What can you tell us? I mean, where are they getting these rockets from?
I think most of the rockets of the Palestinian groups are either self-manufactured in Lebanon or outside of Lebanon, but we see that the quality is less than the quality of the rockets that are used by Hezbollah.
And some have suggested that it's actually a branch of Hamas or Hamas affiliates within southern Lebanon that are firing it. Yes. What's the Hamas connection there?
It's probably Hamas. There is a branch of Hamas in Lebanon, and we have seen meetings between Hamas and the Iranians, and after the operation in Gaza, also between Hamas and Hezbollah.
I mean, Hamas in Lebanon, their number 2, Ala Ahrouri, is based in Beirut. What can you say about their connection or cooperation, coordination with Hezbollah?
So we've just seen after the operation in Gaza, a meeting between Hamas, Hania, and Nasrallah, while they were sitting and the Hezbollah flag behind them, and there was a symbol of the Dome of the Rock on top of the flag. So you understand they are now moving one step forward with this campaign for Jerusalem, for what they call Al-Aqsa. It didn't start now, but now they escalated the campaign with those rockets that are being launched from Lebanon.
And in the past, I think we've discussed there are kind of 2 roles that Hezbollah plays. One is kind of the proxy of Iran, as a threat to Israel very close to their border, and the other one is, as Hezbollah like to present themselves, is as the guardians of Lebanon. What's the balance between the role that Hezbollah plays between taking command from Tehran and kind of their own Lebanese-focused issues?
I personally think there is no balance. I think that if the Iranians have decisive opinion and they order Hezbollah to do something, eventually Hezbollah would do so. Yeah, there is a dialogue. There is a dialogue between Hezbollah and the Iranians. And if it's not comfortable for Hezbollah, the Iranians are listening. And that's why you've seen what you've seen with the Palestinian groups as well. But no doubt, Hezbollah is the most precious proxy of the Iranians in the region.
Mm. And just a question on domestic Lebanese politics. I mean, we've seen suggestions that there may be finally a government being formed there. What hope do you give it? How concerned are you about the potential makeup of this new government?
As there is no new government yet, they are still discussing. There is a new prime minister. He needs to approve the new government. And it was, as far as I know this morning, it was not approved yet. So we are still waiting. This is a huge problem. And again, Hezbollah here was blocking any tries of the French to establish a government of technocrats. It was very important for Hezbollah to preserve its political position in Lebanon. And I think that's why we see a situation that the Lebanese government is actually not functioning in the past 2 years, even before the blast in Beirut, which is exactly one of the main reasons for this economic crisis in Lebanon.
And one final question. As I said, we've seen kind of half a dozen rockets fired from the Hamas, from the Palestinian groups. Last Friday, we saw the rocket fire from Hezbollah as well. From a civilian perspective, living in the north, bringing up a family here, How concerned are you? How has it affected the fabric of civilian life in the north?
We live in constant contradiction. On the one hand, we live in paradise. You see how beautiful and calm everything is, and we live normal life. We have very good relationship with our Arab neighbors over here. My kids feel very safe to go and eat pizza in the nearby Arab village at midnight, to play the basketball outside. The daily life, the feeling is safe. But all of us in the north know that if something will happen and we'll end up in war, things will get rough, and it will, not even war, you know what, even an escalation. If rockets will continue to be launched every 2 weeks to the north, it will be a different atmosphere.
I'm sorry, and one last question. What do you expect from the international community to do about it? What's realistic? What would you call out if certainly obviously with BICOM as a focus to the Brits? Is there a message for the British government or other generally in the West?
I think the international community should understand that nobody has the privilege to compromise with terror, whether it's Hezbollah or their Iranian boss. And if you compromise with terror, eventually you get the terror in London. And that's why, and it's not for Israel, it's for the United Kingdom, and it's for the Lebanese themselves, and it's for the Iranians, and we've seen this now in Iran as well. That's why it is so important to take every measure to uproot this phenomena of a terrorist group that is getting so much power in a state, and that Iran is taking advantage of collapsing states in the region to gain more power in the Middle East.
Sarit, thank you very much.
Thank you.